The first week I got the motorcycle, I took a 4-day ride into cottage country, and on the boat across from Tobermory to Manitoulin Island, I met a writer. She was an inspiration to me, but we had a chat on the ferry. She asked me what would go through my mind when I was riding a motorcycle, and at that time, it was about my mother. My mother's name was Vera ROADKNIGHT. My mother was a poor English daughter of a laborer in Birmingham. She was born in 1931, so a young child during World War II. And she came over to Canada. She was very ambitious. She was probably one of the most ambitious women I've met, and came over to Canada to make a life for herself. She was a strong woman. She was an athlete. She played competitive tennis. She played competitive table tennis. She actually won a silver and a bronze medal at the Senior Canada Games when she was 85 years old. She was the oldest contestant. So she was a determined, stubborn old Brit who took that determination into anything she did, and she was very successful. She was never the most talented, but she was mentally the strongest, the most determined. And it wasn't just in sport. She was like that in her approach to life as well. And I think I got a lot of that from her. She also rode a motorcycle, not really a motorcycle, a scooter, a Vespa, back in her youth. She was actually the one that got me into motorcycles when I was a teenager. I was riding one day with a buddy of mine, and we were talking about my mother. I told him that her maiden name was ROADKNIGHT, and he says, "Man, you got to name your bike ROADKNIGHT." And it just, the lights came on, and I started thinking about, wow, first of all, that would be a great tribute to my mother, who actually paid for the bike because I used it out of the inheritance, some of the inheritance money that I got when she passed away a couple of years ago. And so it would be a nice tribute to my mom. And I just thought it's so fitting. It gave me a lot of time to reflect about the relationship that I had with my mother, all the trials and tribulations of a mother and a son. And with her recent passing, it was a really nice time to reflect upon all of those things that my mother and I held so dear. Yeah, the ROADKNIGHT graphic was an interesting story, and it evolved as we started thinking through the process. Because the motorcycle was named after my mother and paid for essentially by my mother. It's just a cool name for a motorcycle. And when you think about what ROADKNIGHT is, ROADKNIGHT is a soldier that back in medieval England was a soldier that rode and protected his lord. Kind of a fitting thing, not riding a horse, but riding a motorcycle. How we got into the development of the image came about when I hooked up with my son's friend Dylan, very creative thinker, and I told him about the concept, and he started asking me a few questions about imagery, and just thought of a knight and a sword, a shield with some kind of roadscape. He just went off and did a few different iterations, and from there we just went back and forth, adding different elements, adding my mother's name, and eventually we got it to a place which is just perfect. It captures all the elements that I wanted out of this, the symbol and the concept of the ROADKNIGHT. It captured the colors of the BMW, and it captured the the traveling and the tourism that I like to do on the motorcycle, with the mountains in the background and the road and the little bike off in the distance. I used to ride bikes way back when I was a teenager. Had a couple of different bikes. Really enjoyed it. Ended up, having a family and getting caught up on my career. Then now with the kids older and off to school, I asked my wife if she'd be interested in riding a motorcycle. To my surprise, she said yes. I didn't take too long. Before you know it, I had 2 motorcycles on the driveway, and we were off to the races. It was really about trying to get an activity that I had a passion for in my youth, something that I could do with my wife together in our retirement. Now, within, I'm going to say, 6 weeks, I already had my eye on the next bike, and I knew I wanted a big touring bike. Yeah, my name is Richard John Klopfer, born in 1966. I was born in Auckland, New Zealand. Moved to Canada when I was very young, 4 years old. Raised in Canada. I have an older sister. I have 2 wonderful children. Carl is 22 and Katie, who's 21 next week. I have a beautiful wife, a few years away from retirement. I've worked hard. I think I've earned it. And I got lots of things to look forward to.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you retire?
I'm going to ride my motorcycle around North America. I want to see the Grand Canyon. I want to go up the Highway 1. I want to ride through Vancouver and into Alaska.